I'm going to steal that at some point. I get, Robert Davis, can you confirm the report that he is out for the year with multiple leg injuries?
Yes, he is out for the year, unfortunately. Went up for the ball yesterday, and he and Danny landed awkwardly on his knee and has to have surgery.
What is the injury or injuries?
I think I just know it's season ending. It'll be a major surgery. It's 9 to 12 month rehab process, PCL, I believe. So, and some other damage. So, Robert's in our prayers, but he'll recover quickly. He's a good, strong young guy, and we'll take care of him.
You guys have talked about the depth there. What does this do for guys like Cam Sims and Cobbs and that?
The same. They're all in competition. Cam, Simmy, Kidsey, all these guys that have come in here and worked hard to try to make this football team make a positive impression. That's why these days are very important right here, these next 2 days against the Jets, 3 days. So we've still got some time to look at these guys, and great opportunity for all of them.
Do you have a plan for how you'll handle the starters over the next few days? Obviously opportunities each of the next 3 days. And then
we've it all scripted out as far as how many reps they're going to get, but they'll get quite a few. We have, like I said, some 9-on-7 drills. We have some 1st and 10 drills. We have some team drills, some 7-on-7. So we got it all covered. They'll get plenty of reps.
Will you have them go full contact or hold them back from that?
Most of it will be thud. I'm going to talk to Coach Bowles here in a minute about maybe later on in practice, maybe doing a little bit of live work, but we'll see. They're banged up, I know, as we are a little bit. So it could be not as much as we had hoped originally.
Jay, a couple quarterback questions for you. When you have a guy like Alex Smith versus kind of what the Jets situation is where you've got a rookie and a few guys, how does that change the way you approach a preseason, approach a training camp, knowing that you have a guy who's been around versus a guy who you're trying to get used to the NFL?
That changes considerably. I mean, fortunately, when I was in Cincinnati, we had Andy Dalton his first year, but he took all the reps. They're in competition. They have 3 very good quarterbacks they're trying to find out, so it's probably difficult for them to get them all equal reps and see what they can do. With Alex and Colt, it's pretty clear cut who's getting the 1 reps and who's getting the 2 reps and all that. So we have a pretty good plan. And another big thing is making sure we give Alex enough looks where he feels comfortable going into week 1, whether it's out at practice, whether it's a couple preseason games, whatever that is, we'll decide. But getting him the looks, making him comfortable in offense, what we're going to call the first week of the season is most important to me.
What kind of camps have Capri Bibbs and Byron Marshall had? You can just kind of address them each one individually.
They've been good. Capri missed a couple days. He was dinged up a little bit, but Byron's been excellent. He's taken on that 3rd down back role, but he's also stout enough to handle some of the 1st and 2nd down stuff too. I've been impressed. He had a couple great plays in pass protection in the game against New England. Out of the backfield, you see what he can do catching the ball. He's a return guy. He's strong. Capri, he had some flashes last year out of the backfield catching the ball and running the ball. So both of those guys, I think, have a lot of positive qualities as far as not only being a 3rd down back, but 1st and 2nd down back. They're both big enough.
Jay, you've lost 3 guys for the year since Thursday. It's been 4 days.
Yeah.
And then you couple that with all the injuries last year. Does that weigh on you guys mentally?
Doesn't weigh, on a healthy guy. It weighs on me a little bit sometimes. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. It's, but that's just unfortunate. They're all offensive players too, which bothers me. But and they're all great kids. You hate to see anybody get hurt. This time of year when you're trying to limit the contact and guys are still going down in a non-contact drill, it's frustrating. Obviously, Darius went down in the preseason game, but it's just it is what it is. It's just pro football. We do the best we can in the training room and in a weight room and at a practice to take care of these guys, but this is a tough game. Your legs and body gets in contorted angles sometimes, and they happen.
Jay, what's the biggest challenge for guys like Harris and Sims who've had a good training camp, but then to take that and actually do it under the lights on Thursday like they were able to do?
Yeah, it's a great, especially Sims, who just got here. He's learning as a rookie free agent, college free agent. Reps and team drills are limited, and so you have to really focus in on the meetings, make sure when you do get a rep, you know exactly what you're doing. And Ike's done an excellent job with those young guys. Mo's been here, so he's one of our smartest players. He can line up at all 3 spots. That's why he's so valuable to us, and he's a great blocker. You saw him in the game against New England, fit up on safeties, do some great things, obviously, as a receiver. So Mo's a great all-around receiver for us, and we have confidence he can line up anywhere. And these young guys are, they're going to get great work here the next 2-3 weeks.
Yesterday in 11-on-11, you had both your tackles. You had Doxson, you had Reed, you had Deron Payne. I mean, you had a lot of guys who have been injured going back in. Do you anticipate them seeing action over the next couple of days? I know yesterday was no pads, so it might have been.
Yeah, I hope so. A lot of those guys are on an individual pitch count. Trent might be different than Jordan and Morgan and obviously Deron Payne. So we're monitoring each and every one of those guys individually. So it's good to get them some work. Deron looked excellent yesterday. Trent did some great things, and it's just a matter of once they put that day's work in, how they feel afterwards and what kind of treatment they get, and then the next morning what they're like. So we just monitor them on a daily basis, and that'll depend on, after individual, how they're feeling. We'll talk to the trainers and make our decisions then.
Coach, building on from that, you mentioned earlier that the team's banged up. Are there any key players today who won't be going against the Jets on day one?
That won't be?
Yeah, who's sitting out today?
Probably Sean Dion might sit out today. Other than that, we'll wait and see once we get out there. We got a lot of guys doing individual drills, see how they feel, and then we'll go from there.
Hey, Coach, what can you get out of a practice against the Jets that's different than a game or just practice by yourselves?
I think when you go against the same guy over and over, I think it can run into some monotony there. But now you're going against Leonard Williams if you're an offensive lineman, and as a defensive lineman, you're going against Spencer Long or whoever it is on their side of the ball. And as a receiver, you're going against different guys, and it's just a great challenge for you to go against different people and make sure your fundamentals are sound, and understand that different people have different tendencies and all that good stuff and different techniques by a defense. We'll see what Coach Bowles is coaching their guys and how we attack their coverages. So I think all around it's just good. You just got to make sure we stay up and do things right, and then work on our X's and O's offensively and defensively.
You said that with seeing all these injuries, you feel like you're doing something wrong. When it comes to these kind of injuries, is there anything that you guys can do to limit them? I mean, or what kind of injuries would be the ones you say we can handle these, we can do a better job with these, but these are just ones you have to accept with pro football?
Well, all the ones we've had, we just have to accept. Darius was just running and his leg got stuck in the turf wrong, and Rob went up and landed funny on his deal, and just so happens that's the way it is. So, I think there's a fine line. We still have to practice football. We still have to get these guys ready to play a game. Just try to do the best we can to stay up and coach great fundamentals, make sure they get good treatment, hydrate, all that good stuff, and hope for the best.
Jay, Josh Harvey Clemens, I think, was mentioned having a hamstring.
He's another one. He'll be out today.
Okay. I was going to ask you, with regards to the inside linebacker situation, you mentioned Sean Dion and him, and then you've got the two veteran types of Zach and Spade. How do you kind of see those four guys, and what's your sense of how many guys from that position you might keep ultimately?
Yeah, we have Zach, Spade, Vigil, obviously Foster, so we're okay there. And we added Knox just the other day, so we have some guys that are going there and compete. A lot of it, our starting two backers right now are Zach and Mason. After that, I think a lot will depend on special teams and who plays the best.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
All righty, thank you.